What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning on the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Loki. His name is Jalbos. Yes, another Jalbos for you fine folk out there. Jalbos game for you fine folk out there. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is Moore. The map is Marsh, and it's a Loki versus Zeus matchup on Marsh. Oh, baby, this is going to be spicy. This is going to be super spicy. This matchup here, we haven't seen a whole lot of it, but this is one of those matchups that is actually one of the better matchups for Loki, I'd have to say. So Loki has got access to Hall of Thanes, Hersa, which can completely neutralize Centaur. So Centaur are not really an option against Loki. Then he's going to have to deal with the Hoplite, Toxotes, Athena aggression that potentially the Zeus player might go for, which is generally dealt with really, really nice Hersa management by picking off straggler units, fighting where the Hersa have the advantage, which is the speed, and all the myth unit spawns and everything else like that. There's also another recent school of thought of going Hersa throwing Axeman against the Zeus build, which can be very, very strong as well. So we'll see how this is all going to go. Moore is looking like he's just going to be doing a standard 4:30 advance time, which I think is a bit of a mistake in this matchup, to tell you the truth. I think the only real way to play this matchup and to play Zeus in general nowadays on the high hunt maps such as Marsh against Norse is to be definitely going for a 4-minute advance time. Any later and you are really allowing the Norse player to get going, and you're just going to be playing catch up for the entirety of the game, as we see both a house and a granary getting thrown down here. I'm interested to see what Jalbos has actually decided to do here in the start of the game. This is a bit of a mistake, if I'm going to have to say so myself. The first thing you want to do with your Ulfsark on this map is scout the middle of the map, because you get all of these pigs, and pigs for Loki are vitally important here. And you can see, I would assume you can see Moore knows about this. He's kind of scouted the middle. Both players kind of making this mistake. But you definitely want to scout the middle of the map. That's where all of the pigs spawn. And you can get a lot of very, very nice advantage by getting those pigs. As Jalbos just kind of playing fairly standard. He's got an outer dwarf. He's going to get out as many dwarfs as he can in the classical age, and then generally speaking, he's going to go onto this gold mine. But there is a slight issue with his position, and that is definitely this gold mine is exposed. So an Athena rush over here can be absolutely brutal. There is a gold mine on this location, which gives Jalbos multiple different locations that he can go to, and we do see that Moore is spotting this. So the question is really going to be, how aggressive does Moore go here in this game? He's just got a little bit more food to gather at this point. Does he get out an early Jason? I think that's normally a mistake here. And he's going to be bringing some of these villagers over onto wood. Oh, he's decided to finish up the hippopotamus or something. I'm not sure what's happening. There's the Athena, so he is decided to go for Athena. It's not quite a 315, but he was aiming for a 315, it looks like, before moving over onto the wood. Now, when you do go for these very aggressive plays against the gold mine, the exposed gold mine, it is generally best to be throwing down your military buildings on top of a hunt situation. Thus, that would allow you to defend your exposed hunt against Hersa raids, because you're going to have those units spawning out on them while you're trying to put pressure on. As we do see a Hersa coming out here. How are the relics looking? We've got, that is a huge relic here for the defense of the Athena rush here. The golden line is going to be absolutely huge for Jalbos if he's going to choose to pick that one up. We've also got the canopic jar of Imseti, not a bad relic for the hoplites. And we've also got the head of Orpheus, extra 8 line of sight for the buildings. And the Kithara of Apollo. This one is actually low-key broken in this matchup, because it's going to help the villagers' survivability quite a bit, because if the Hersa come in, you can run away much easier, given your extra speed, as the golden lines does come back here for Jalbos. He's going through 4 SETI a little bit late, I would say. I think he shorted himself a dwarf, something kind of wrong with the builds here. How many? He's got 7 villagers here. I'm a little bit confused about what happened there, but Longhouse coming up. We got the troll trying to pick off the Katoskopos. Another relic is coming in. That was the canopic jar of Imseti, so he's going to be able to get some Ulfsark out, some throwing action out very, very quickly. Well, I wouldn't say very quickly, but fairly quickly. And what is this? This is double archery range. Is he going for... What? All right. So I'm not sure what more is planning here. Role playing as Hades, I guess. See this Toskopos checking out the hunt over here, but the fact of the matter is, like, you can't afford all 3 military buildings here, generally speaking. He's just going to be sitting on this wood, I guess. Got a lot of villages on gold, maybe too many. You can see he's skyrocketing on gold. Greek is definitely one of the more challenging, or Zeus and Greek in general are one of the more challenging civilizations for an Atlantean main to play, because the economy is very super specific. And if you don't know what it's supposed to be, you can find yourself floating tons of resources here instead of anything else. But it is looking like what Moore's plan is here is to go for a big... Oh, okay. Never mind. I was going to say go for a really, really big all-in, but he's just thrown away a whole bunch of units here. I don't mind the big all-in attempt, but he's just going to sit back, wait for a mass of units, and then kind of move over here with restoration. Can possibly work if he can get a good enough position with his units. He's only got a couple of hoplites here at this point. 4 hoplites, 8 toxotes. Jalbos 59 population, more 55 population. So trying to get those houses down. A whole bunch of villages on wood for two archery ranges. You do need roughly 10 villages on wood for that. And then you have your town center plus your military academy, which you need about 8 villages on food for those 2 things there. But we've seen the villagers getting pushed off here. Big raid. 1 villager dead. 2 villagers dead. Hall of Fame's already in here for Jalbos as he's starting to put this pressure on very, very immensely here. Very nice play. He's going to be sacrificing a Hersa here, it seems, as another villager under attack, but will survive that onslaught there. A very, very good trade for Jalbos, getting 2 villager kills there, it seems. And for 1 Hersa, so going to get out of there with that win. Is he going to continue making units here? I think he has to. The question is, does he start making throwing axemen at this point or not? Given there he goes. Given that he's probably his best bet is to stay in the classical age here against the Athena that Moore is putting onto him at this point. Now he's got his army separated. Moore has his army separated, and he needs to figure out when he's going to be able to put that pressure on. The problem for Moore here is that his wood line is exposed. I mean, he could come over here onto this location and kind of wall this up quite a bit with houses. Yeah, if he puts his storehouse over here, it could be fairly well defended. And we see more Hersa coming in, looking for something to attack. I love the multi-raids here from Jalbos. But 1 villager getting sniped by the ball. More, no. And the Hersa now coming in here, going to be able to snipe down another villager, it seems, as the Toxotes coming back in, trying to take down one. We see an Iron Here spawn here as well, going to be an absolutely huge there. 1 Hersa does fall. 2 villagers falling again, as we're seeing Jalbos getting some very, very good trades here with these raids. 2 villagers for a Hersa, always worth it. As the Iron Here coming back in, we see the Hersa swinging around, might try and jump onto these Toxotes. Have to be very, very careful here, dropping that relic down in front of the Odysseus to pick up, though. I was going to say you have to be really careful fighting the Hersa with the Toxotes, because if the player micros well enough, he can actually dodge the Toxote fires. We see the villagers moving up to the top corner of the map, getting those water buffalo. Does Moore know about that? He might be able to recognize that those villagers are up there, and now Moore is ready to go forward. We're seeing 95 of 95 population apiece as the army fighting back. We've got a whole bunch of those throwing axemen in the back here for Jalbos. They're going to be so key here. Where's the rest of Jalbos' army? This is it. This is it for Jalbos. He does have the 2 golden lines, though. Big help. Moore still waiting his time here, looking to get some... He's got to go at some point here. You've got to go. You've got restoration. You have the power spike. You cannot wait for flaming weapons. It's not going to be good enough. Restoration loses out to a big flaming weapons push from the Loki player, and we're seeing Jalbos simply just going to be full population. We see the house getting taken down on this location. This gold mine just about to expire here as more coming in from both sides, trying to catch this out. We see the restoration coming in here as the army coming from the top side. We see a Valkyrie spawn. The army from More not exactly doing as much DPS as he might have liked. The Herso starting to get a ton of damage done at this point as this entire army here falls. The Toxotes in a really, really good position over here. But more Valkyrie spawns, more Myth unit spawns for Jalbos. Jalbos 99 population, more 81 population. This is the power of Loki here. Even with all of these Toxotes, it's just not enough. And it's looking like, well, Jalbos wants to retreat for the time being as his Herso are currently preoccupied by killing a Jason here. And it's looking like Moore lost that fight, but not as hard as I actually thought it was going to be. Jalbos 93 pop to Moore 80 population. Now the question is, how does Moore continue here? The gold mine is finished. There's 2 gold mines here and here, which Moore knows about. Does he start going for wild raids here? Can he go for an underworld push or something like that? We're starting to see the Herso getting taken out now on the front as Jalbos not paying attention. The villagers are going to get caught out though, as they're going to make a big retreat here. A couple of villager kills here. 4 more is going to be absolutely huge. The Herso coming in. This is going to be enough to clean up these Toxotes, it seems. If Jalbos starts doing some micro, but he's not actually doing it. We do see a troll coming in to help out, going to do a whole bunch of damage. Those Toxotes, sorry, those throwing axemen, actually very, very strong here as well. And we're seeing the Valkyrie over on this position, picking off more villagers. Very nice play from Jalbos to be aware of the value of raiding with a Valkyrie at this point in the game, given both of the heroes were sniped off. But no more villager kills for the Valkyrie. Does manage to take that one down. Jalbos still sitting over here, finishing off this food. Going to be retreating back. We see some walls getting thrown up over here for Jalbos to protect this gold mine, and a healing spring does get thrown up in Jalbos' base. He's just biding his time at this point. 0 food villages remaining though for Jalbos. This is a very, very big problem at this point, as essentially he can't start farming. Farming here would be very, very bad. He doesn't have access to the Huskal, so he can't just go full wood. And this is going to be all about Moore being very hyper aware of what's going on. If Moore can put pressure on and get some good trades here, which is looking like it's exactly what he's doing here, he's going to be able to put Jalbos in an incredibly difficult position to continue in this game. As we do see the army of Jalbos getting pushed back. 86 population to Moore's 79. Population has basically been leveled here, as all the villagers over here on the wood, and Jalbos is just spamming out the throwing axe, and he can't make Herso anymore. He can only make dwarves out of his towns, and he's not making dwarves either just yet. Moore's got to realize that maybe going up to the top of the map, hitting this location, definitely sending something over to this gold mine to check is vitally important here at this stage of the game. The Toxotes coming in, sniping down, throwing axemen. Incredibly nice control right now from Moore to be taking these units down. Keep volleying at this point. Another throwing axeman getting taken out. The house or the tower, not really that important at this point. We're seeing the Herso are out here at this point, but they're going to get taken down very quickly. We see the watchtowers getting built at this point. Moore probably should be retreating here now that the watchtowers are up, at least outside of the tower range. But he's actually winning this fight currently. The Odysseus does get taken down. Maybe Jalbos can start making some trolls here. We're seeing the Toxotes staying in on this location because because Moore feels like he's got a bit of an advantage, given he's got the healing spring. We see the what do you call those, golden lions popping out here to help out as well. But Moore getting cleaned up just a little bit. 50, 60 population for Moore. Jalbos 55 population. Both players very, very similar here. The troll popping out going to be enough to force those Toxotes back, as now we're starting to see Jalbos throwing down some farms. Moore is still just in the middle of the map, hunting everywhere, just living the dream at this point. But no more military buildings getting thrown up for Moore. In fact, he's cut military completely here. Is he planning to get to the next age? And this could be a very smart play. Underworld from this gold mine over to this gold mine. I mean, maybe this gold mine just expires, maybe from this location over here to this location over here to get a gold cut with Underworld, with a power space, with all of your heroic age units. Might be a goer here for Moore, and we'll see how he's going to go. Is he starting? Oh, he's starting production again, so he must have not really felt like doing much there, as the villagers kind of idle over here. I want to know what the villager differential is at this point for these players. If we look at the post game quickly, we check out the civilian units, and it is a slight lead for Jalbos right now. He's picked off a lot of villagers with his raids. But the farms are up, and I mean, once you throw the farms up, it's still a long ways to get to the heroic age. He's got dwarves on these as well. For you guys playing at home, if you're in this situation where you want to pick between gatherers or dwarves on farms versus wood, you definitely want to put the gatherers onto wood and the dwarves onto wood and the gatherers onto farms. Because food is so much more important than wood. Anyways, Jalbos sitting back, more hanging there as well, more military. A stable being thrown up? Question mark. I mean, all right, fair enough. I don't see any reason to build Hippocon, but maybe he's worried about raiding cavalry coming through and needing to make Prodromus or something like that. He goes double stable here, and he's making Hippocon. Now we see the throwing axeman looking to move forward. Toxotes sitting out the front here as the hoplite, just checking in what's going on. He's going to start seeing those farms, realizing he's in a he should realize he's in a very good position. There's this weird part of the score here where Jalbos is in front by 400 score, but a lot of that is simply just in those myth units that have all been picked off thus far. He does have a slight economic lead as well, and what's he going to do with Hippocon? Don't build Hippocon against Norse. There's no point. They don't have archers. I don't care who you are. Stop building Hippocon. Especially with Zeus. Zeus has got the speedy hoplite. They move at 4.7 speed. They go fast. See another wall coming up over here. Armory coming down now for Jalbos, as he is still very far away from very far away from the heroic age, and we're actually seeing a talent center getting thrown up. Generally speaking, if you do have to farm in the classical age, it is best to get a second talent center just because of how slow the food income is, so it's better to just skip the heroic age altogether in a way to get your economy sorted. We do see the temples taken out, and you want to pick up that pair of gold lions here. More making a bit of a mistake here by moving in and taking this fight. He's throwing away a lot of units. More still one town center, not advancing to the next age at all. I'm not sure what... I mean, fair enough. He's going for the fight. The throwing axemen technically actually deal pretty good damage against the Hippocon, even though they don't get any bonus damage. They're still dealing like basically 5 damage a second to the Hippocon, whereas you compare the 7.15 onto the... Well, actually, it's definitely better. Anyways, Trolls sitting in the back doing their thing. More still getting a lot of good picks here in this fight because at this point, Jalbos can't really take the fight. We do see Jalbos picking up one of the relics. Was that? He's getting the Canopic Jar Imseti. Fair enough. Definitely want to keep that train time going if you can chuck that into a temple or something. There's the town center up right now, but the gold mine is just about to be expired. There's definitely an avenue here for more to make a big move in here and get a gold star. We see the dwarves helping fight. At this point, the trolls need to be a little bit further back here, but they're still getting some good damage done as the Jason not helping out. But now the Jason's starting to slice those trolls down incredibly fast over here, as also the Odysseus takes down yet another troll. The Toxotes focusing down dwarves at this point. Need to be trying to get those thrown axemen kills. Jalbos 109 population, more 99 population. Those Hippocon not helping out much at all, but we are seeing some Minotaur now coming in to help out. When the Herser comes in, it's actually best for the Minotaur to actually just fight the Herser and then target all your Toxotes onto said Herser, and that'll have the least amount of damage done onto your Minotaur. And we're still seeing more trying to force here, but he's not getting everything that he wants. He's not actually winning this fight at this point, as Jalbos is holding very, very nicely. We see a whole bunch of wood currently in the bank for Jalbos that needs to be converted into farms. You see the Minotaur getting sniped down here. Another troll getting taken down. More trolls getting built at this point. More Herser coming out for Jalbos as his food economy is starting to kick into gear. More on the other hand, he's got 23 villages on food, but not producing villages anymore. He is just going all in on this location, as Jalbos is more than easily defending here. More retreating away And that is that. Jalbos holds his 2 town centers in a fantastic position now. Moore still has all of the food on the map, so I'm still confused as to why he hasn't gone to the heroic age. You have to be aware that that Greek, once they get Paspist, completely shut down Herser and force their opponent to be making making raiding cavalry essentially, which is exactly what you want. If you can go Pacifist Toxodia against this army, it's super easy to win. Without seeing those Hippocon, they're trying to dodge the throwing axemen here, but a little bit of micro from Jalbos would go a long way at this point as the throwing axemen moving forward, the Toxodes retreating away, the trolls in the back ready to sling some more of those rocks in. Now we're starting to see some villagers on the front getting sniped down. There's so much food down the bottom of the map. I'm surprised to see more going after what would be Jalbos' boar here when he's got boar here, he's got crown crane, hippo, boar. He's got plenty of units over here, but still continuing to fight this. We do still have one Jason out, no Odysseus in this fight currently, 4 more. And I imagine if Jalbos micros onto this Jason, or there's the Odysseus coming in, the trolls would do so much damage to the Minotaur in the back, helping out a ton. Those throwing axemen not doing the best against the Hippocon, but the Hippocon aren't doing all too much against the throwing axemen either, as the hammer trolls getting pushed back and more currently holding on here. Jalbos 110, 130 population. He's still not quite in a position to push out, but his army is very, very strong here. I'm surprised to see him having to pull back right now, as Moore is still 115 of 115 population, making another hero here. We see the Odysseus very close to falling as well, which means those trolls, those Aini are doing so much damage, and Jalbos pushing back yet again. Moore just not able to push through. We are seeing a cheeky raid over onto this gold mine, as there is clearly the weakness in Jalbos' position is the gold, and Moore has not identified that and is not applying pressure in the correct location here. Imagine a couple of military buildings over here and just completely all-inning this gold mine, maybe even bringing villagers in. We see the town center getting grabbed by Moore as he's like, I'm staying in the classical age. Jalbos staying in the classical age as well, but he's got 24 villagers on farms at this point. We do see a wall getting thrown up over here as the Hippocon looking to get some raids, and this is kind of the only thing you can use Hippocon for against a Norse player, but even so, the Hippocon actually still moves slower than the Herser, so they don't even have more mobility than the Herser, as we see the town center just about to be finished up. Moore just about to click up to the next age. Finally, he can go for that underworld we were talking about on this location as well. And there he goes. Or he can go for a bronze push here, because Jalbos might not be able to get to the next age either. It's looking like he's probably just about to get there. The Hippocon kind of getting sniped here. A couple of Herser are falling, but as you can see, the slow Hippocon go for the raid, get pushed back, lose a whole metric shit ton of them, and that's just that. Jalbos just about to click up now. We are seeing Dionysus is the god of choice, but I'll tell you what, Apollo is much better, but for 2 reasons. One, you don't have ceasefire for the flaming weapons, and you can use Apollo, you can use Underworld to retreat away from this location very, very easily. But 2, the more important one is you have to be able to get onto this location somehow. And you can't really walk there, so Underworld's going to be much better. Fighting with bronze against flaming weapons is just never going to cut it. Now we see the army of Jalbos just hanging back here. He's going to want to throw up an immediate hill fort over here just to make sure he can hold on. Whereas Moore's best course of action currently is to try and get 4 town centers here, or at least get this town center, maybe not this town center, get this town center and hold 3 town centers and try and get to the Mythic Age through Hera to really slow Jalbos down to take this game late game and try and win with Zeus late game. Because at this point, Jalbos' economy is so massive. He's set up farms. You can see how many farms he's already got. We are seeing some Hippocon raids up onto this corner of the map, but there's really nothing going on there. There's the Apollo coming through, and I would love to see Moore getting some Paspist here. So we see the Herser cheekily walking in here, and this is what I was talking about. This town center he could sneak this town center. He could make a lot of issues for more very, very real, as we are seeing the Hippocon going after some of these villages underneath the town center. And we are seeing Jalbos converting some Ulsark here from that. So 4 villager kills for those Hippocon. They're simply just going to say, hey, that's GG for me. I'm happy with that. It's going to be retreating away. But there is a very real problem for more that is going to be realized in the next, say, 5 minutes or so, maybe 2 minutes actually, is it is going to be running out of food. There's really not that much food left on the map, and he doesn't have farm set up just yet. He is making some Hapaspist. So the farm transition for more is going to be very, very detrimental to his current economy. And guess what? Jalbos is going through hell. I would have liked to see Tyr here, but Jalbos is going through hell. He's trying to throw up a temple on this location because he's going to have access to those that rampage, making those fire giants straight out of the temple. But Moore spots it, takes it down. Nice play by Moore as he's trying to put some pressure over here. We do have a battle boar out as well. Super difficult to deal with. Is Moore going to the Mythic Age? No, he is not. He is for 3 town centers here, not clicking up just yet. The army of Moore has to retreat back to the town center. Jalbos has got a very, very free reign of the flaming weapons onto this location if he so chooses. What I would love to see from Moore is the underworld here over to here, or basically here, when the flaming weapons hits, so that he can get a little bit of damage done while he loses his town center. And there's the flaming weapons getting cast here. Moore simply just going to be retreating back. These slow throwing axemen are not the best with the flaming weapons. That's why you really want to have basically mass Herser with flaming weapons, because you can utilize their speed to chase them down. But we're still seeing some units getting taken out as he is retreating away. But that hell going to be popping up soon. We do see that cheeky temple from Jalbos is up on this location. The Hippocon coming in for the raid over here, but the dwarves making a move forward onto this gold mine here as well. And we see an underworld passage getting thrown down. I mean, I was saying here's where I want it to go, but not yet. Like, you got to go here or here. On the gold, find the gold. But there's the Nidhogg. You see the units returning back over here, trying to hold on. Jalbos with such an advantage in this game thus far. Do we see Jalbos getting rampage? We do. Jalbos is getting rampage. Let's go, Jalbos. Can be making a whole butt ton of myth units. He can make frost giants, he can make fire giants, he can make mountain giants. There's the Nidhogg getting thrown down on this position as well. Nidhogg is so difficult for Zeus and Greek in general to deal with because they've only got one ranged hero, and he really doesn't do all too much damage to the Nidhogg at all. So we do see this Nidhogg now moving over onto this gold mine, going to be preventing Moore from getting gold at this point. He's got 2 villagers on gold tiers. We see another archery range getting taken down. The Toxotes are not it at all. Look how little damage they do to this Nidhogg. The Nidhogg's got 64% pierce armor as well. So and the splash damage does so much, and Moore decides in that moment that the game is lost. We don't get to see those rampage fire giants popping out and dealing chaos. But man, Moore just didn't make sense what he was trying to do in this game. There was definitely times here where Moore had a significant advantage, but Jalbos manages to make it work even after having the entirety of the map cut off to him for food, having to farm, having to get the 2 town centers, having to just hold against the onslaught that is the Athena. And he just somehow manages to survive here. I tell you what, if instead of making these stables, Moore just went to the heroic age and made barracks and went past Toxotes, there was literally nothing Jalbos could do to stop an underworld onto this location, and from like over here as well, like so he can secure both gold mines, all of them. And it's just super unfortunate for Moore not to realize that in the moment. Obviously I've got omniscience, so I know, but hard to work those out in the game. Well played by Jalbos. If you like this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.